Okay, so we're going to have a look at creating input, just simple input with the updated input system in Unreal Engine 5. So this is from Unreal Engine 5.1 and onwards. So first up, we're in the first person project, first person map right here. So we go to our content draw. We will find we have our first person section just down here. If we expand that, you'll see we also have input. If we have a look at that, we've got our input actions, and then we've got the IMC default IMC weapons up here, and then we have actions down the bottom. So let's have a look first up at this IMC default. Let's just double click on that and see what we've got. Okay, so here we go. We have our mappings. So we've got IA jump, and we expand that. You can see we've got 3 sections under here. So spacebar, gamepad, face button, and touch. And you can see different icons in here. So you've got our keyboard, controller, and touch screen, basically. And if we expand those, you'll see we've got some other information under here as well. Let's have a look at the rest of these. And there's really not. So we've got inherit settings from action. So that's the action that we're using. And if we go to the others, we expand these. You can see move. We've got quite a bit more under here. So we've got WASAD. Got the up, down, right, left control. Up, down, right, left buttons. On the keyboard again, you can see on the keyboard, and then we have our gamepad left thumbstick 2D axis, and then look using our mouse initially. So we've got our mouse XY 2D axis there, and then we've got our gamepad as well. So we're not going to be going into great depth in this video. We're just going to be looking at how to set up some basic toggles to control things. So we're going to be adding some stuff here. Now, if we've got this one open, we can just use the little button here, which says browse to whatever the asset is. So AI jump in the content browser. If we go to the content browser, you'll see if we go to actions, we have AI jump right here. So this is part of the actions. If we double click on jump, let's go and have a look at that. And what have we got here? Well, okay, so we've got description, which is blank at the moment. Trigger when paused, reserve all mappings. So this is stuff we're not going to be going into, but you can look at this in detail if you want to. Then we've got triggers, which has some stuff in it. Okay, so we've got pressed, 0.5. Some modifiers, some advanced stuff here, so accumulation behavior, etc., etc. We really need to worry about these at the moment. So basically, this is just for jump, pressed, and we've got a value in here. Let's go back to our asset and let's have a look here at jump. So spacebar. Basically, we're just saying, hey, from the spacebar. Pressed, and it's basically just going to be doing this. So what does this really mean? Well, that's a good question. Let's go and have a look. So where do we look? Well, let's go and have a look in the character blueprint, first person character blueprint. Down here, of course. And if we go to first person and then blueprints. And then the first one here is our BP first person character. So let's double click on that and open it up. And we've got some visual scripting here. Now, if you're familiar with earlier versions of Unreal, this looks quite a bit different. So they've added the this new, what are we calling it? It's enhanced input. And it is better, don't get me wrong. This is actually a much better system than the previous system. Gives you much more flexibility, much more control over everything, and makes things a lot easier to do. So you can see what we've got here. First up, we've got in our begin play. So this happens when we hit play. We're doing some casting to player controller. And then enhanced input local player subsystem. This probably does not look familiar, again, if you are familiar with the previous versions. This is something different. It's basically just a node which is exposing or allowing us to interact with this new enhanced input system. We're checking if that is valid. So obviously we don't want to try and do stuff on something that doesn't exist. If it is valid, then we're adding a mapping context, and that mapping context is the one we just looked at, is that IMC default, which you can see here. So that's how we actually get something working. So that's adding it to our player controller here. Okay, so we can see we've got getting our controller, casting it to our player controller, getting the enhanced input player subsystem there, and then adding the mapping context to that. And we're giving it our mapping context. So if you do extra mapping contexts, then you would add another node here and include that mapping context as well. Now we just looked at jump, so let's go. It's a simple one. So what we want to look at here is just being able to add a key so we can trigger a particular action going on. This is specifically going to be to toggle a screen effect going on and off. So let's go and have a look at how this works. So this is our jump is a simple input. So we've got enhanced input action jump triggered, calls jump, and then completed calls stop jumping. So let's just, okay, so this is actually an existing node in the camera, in the character itself, and then stop jumping presumably is also an existing node, so we can't get in and edit that. So that's basically how the system works. So what if we want to add something to it? What we're wanting to do in here is, say, if I press the key, so say the 1 or 2 or 3 or my keyboard key, it's going to trigger a particular action for me. So how do we do that? Well, it's not too difficult. It used to be a lot easier to do simple stuff. Now we've got a couple of steps to go ahead. So what we need to do is really what we're going to do is we're going to actually add it to the IMC default in here. So let's go into here. Let's go into actually our content drawer and go into our actions, and then let's just go. What do we got? Blueprints. Where are our enhanced actions in here? Not in our blueprints. Where are these guys? Input, I guess it's in here. So input action, that's what we want. There we go. Let's just grab one of those and call it IA, not AI. Let's just say toggle 01, like so. Control Shift S to save that, double click to open it up. Now we pretty much want this to be pretty close to the AI jump. So I'm just going to go into here and basically kind of copy the same thing here. So we've got a value type of bool. Let's go and have a look in here. Just move that across there. Value type is bool, so that's fine. There's some other things in here which we're going to worry about, but if we're going to go do some more complex stuff, we've got an access 1D, an access 2D, and an access 3D. We just want a bool, so it's just going to be true or false, on or off. Then we've got some triggers here. So let's have a look in here. So we're going to add a trigger. We've just got pressed. I think that's pretty much the same as what we want. What are the other options here? So we've got a chorded action combo, down, hold and release, pressed, pulse, released, tap. So pressed's probably what we want. We just want to trigger an action. So let's just go into here. We want to, in our trigger, we've got digital. We just want to add something here. So let's just click the add element button. And then we want that that to be pressed like so. And I think that's pretty much all we need. We've got an actuation threshold there. Let's just have a look. It's 0.5 by default. Okay, no problem. Modifiers, 0, we don't need modifiers. Okay, otherwise that's exactly the same. So setting up our initial setup for our input action is just like that. So we're just going to save that one. We're then going to come across to here, and we want to add a new mapping into this one. So just hit the plus button, and we should come into here and find IA. It's easy to IA toggle 1. So that's the one that I want. IA toggle 1. Now the triggers that we've got. So at the moment we have none. Let's go to our jump again. So what have we got in here? So we're just going to do this for the PC. Okay, so we just want a keyboard action in here. So we have the keyboard right here, and what we can do is we can either come into here and select, say, keyboard. So we can do that. Or an easier way would be just to click on this, and then if you can see it's colored now, if I hit a button, so I'm going to hit 1, bang, and it's just selected 1. So you can do either way like that. Nice, and that's pretty much all I need. So let's save that. Nice. So it's in IMC default, so we do not need to add a new context here. I've put that into the default, so that's the one we've got. Now all we need to do is add the event here, and so just right click here. Oh, actually, hang on. So it's enhanced input action. What if we just do IA underscore toggle? There we go. There we go. There's a whole lot of different things we've got here. So we've got triggered, started, ongoing, cancelled, completed. Not really going to go into any of these, but it allows us to do a lot more stuff if we want to. At the moment, what I'm going to do just to test it out is just do a print screen, as I often do. And we're just going to say toggle 01 pressed. Yeah, that's cool. I think that's all we need. Save that. Hit play. Okay, so if I hit 1, you'll see toggle 01 pressed. Fantastic. All right, easy to do. And we want this to be a toggle. And in Blueprints, that's pretty easy. So all we need to do is just drag this out and go toggle. Hang on, why are we going toggle? Oh no, hang on, is it? My bad. Flip flop. There we go. So that is essentially a toggle. Let's just duplicate this. Hello, duplicate. There we go. Thank you. And let's change that to toggle 1 pressed again. And we'll set that to B. Compile and save. Let's hit play again. So this time we hit 1, toggle pressed again, toggle pressed again. So this allows us just to basically turn something on and off really easily. Okay, so we'll leave it there, and that will allow you to create like a new interact action, as we've got here. Add it to an existing, what are those things called? Let's have a look. Add it to an existing, what are these things called? Mapping context. And then be able to use that in your player character. Okay,